Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AEC Today Reports. Happy Thursday. I hope you've had a wonderful week so far. We're excited about tonight's episode. We're continuing with our mental health awareness and talking specifically about the mental health of the children this week. We're also going to have another ministry moment with a power couple, I like to call them, because of the work that they're doing in the community. And then we have our question, Ask the Pastor segment that's coming up with Dr. Frazer that you don't want to miss. And of course, at the end, Faye and I are going to work out. We hope you're working out with us. So stay tuned for that great workout at the end. All right, all of that and so much more coming up after this break.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
Welcome back, everybody. This is AEC Today Reports. I'm your host, Latasha Hewitt, and we are excited because, as you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we wanted to take some time to focus on different aspects of our mental health. And we're happy to have with us special guest for this segment this week. Oh, I recognize that name. We have Andre Hewitt, who is joining us. Mental health professional, and we're going to talk to him a little bit. So we're going to invite him on at this time. Hello there. How are you, Mr. Hewitt?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mrs. Hewitt?
Doing well. We don't really get to interact this way, aside from camp meetings. But it's great to be able to share this screen with you in this capacity. I know what you do, obviously, professionally, but many do not. But before we get to that, we check in with all of our guests. So how are you doing today? How has COVID impacted you, or how are you managing all that it's brought with it?
I'm doing okay for the most part. COVID certainly has its challenges for us all. Nobody is exempt. But I try to maintain some sort of a schedule. I find that really helps to keep me level-minded, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So I have to say, all things considered, I'm doing all right.
All right. Good to hear that. And so, like I said, it's mental health awareness, and obviously,
well, being a mental health professional, I do want to ask you as well. How are you?
Thank you. Very good. I'm doing well. And I'm trying to create certain schedules and routines that give me a sense of calm. And even though those routines have changed with COVID, I've adjusted, and it's great.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for being true to the profession. And share with us, for those who don't know, we see some initials behind your name, but what do they all mean, and what do you do in this field?
The initials, just means I got a piece of paper that says I'm qualified to do this job. MA, Masters of Arts in Clinical Counseling Psychology, and LPC stands for Licensed Professional Counselor, which means I'm licensed in the state of Pennsylvania to practice clinical counseling. Okay. So that's what I do. I work with children and adults with various mental, emotional, and behavioral issues.
Okay, awesome. So I guess those initials mean that you can share some information with us and our guests and our viewers.
Sure.
Because I know you work largely with children, we wanted to kind of focus on their mental health. Mm-hmm. So as a parent, for some parents, even with the kids being home or, doing some type of hybrid, they had the opportunity to kind of see their children in a different light, or more of them, or pick up on more behaviors or things that they may not have noticed before.
Mm-hmm.
So can you give some guidance to parents in terms of things that they may need to look for in a child who may be exhibiting something that would be classified as a mental health disorder or maybe even mental illness?
Sure. And I'll try to keep it short and sweet. You said something earlier that's a pretty big deal. So of course, COVID has changed a lot of things for us, and one of the major changes is that a lot of families now are spending more time together, with whether they want to or not, right? So I think that creates a space for us to be a bit more observant of each other, and I guess in this case, our children. We can be more aware of what they're like socially, what they're like in school, what they're like personally, and get more of a sense of the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis, right? And of course, for kids too, COVID has brought its own set of challenges as well. Kids are mostly used to be virtual now, and they've had to adjust to learning at home on the computer screen versus in the actual school building where their friends are and things like that. So that certainly limits the social aspect of their growth, which is very important, right? And then of course a lot of our kids struggle with focusing and attention, so to have to sit for a bunch of hours staring at a screen can be very challenging for them. So there's a whole lot that our parents can be aware of as far as what might be going on with our kids and the challenges that they face. One thing that I've certainly noticed, and I don't hear it talked about a lot, that can contribute to a decline in your child's mental or behavioral or emotional health is lack of sleep. Kids are more than ever now more used to being online, whether it's on the school computer or their phones or iPads and things like that. And that's been our most, viable way of trying to stay in touch with the world these days, right? So kids are really focused on that. They're really tuned into that. And I'm sorry to say this, but, that can turn into here's that word, addiction, right? And, hey, kids might be up at night and parents have no idea that they're still on their phones looking at TikTok or texting their friends or watching their favorite show or what have you, with no concept of time, no concept of, hey, I should go to bed right now because I have this test tomorrow at 8 o'clock and I want to be at my best so I can pass this test, right? So the lack of sleep, of course, naturally leads to lower energy, which can lead to increased anxiety because now I'm awake and I have this test. Oh my goodness, but I'm tired. I can't remember anything. All right. So now I'm getting really anxious about this. Okay. And that can then lead to, some depression. That can lead to some other more serious things that I'll talk about a bit later if we have time. But yeah, it's very important, parents, to be mindful of how much sleep your child is getting, especially right now when they're, mostly virtual, because that's so important in trying to maintain, their emotional health, their mental health, decreasing anxiety, helping them to perform at their, at their best, not just in school, but even socially. Right. Because, adults, kids, we have to interact with other kids and adults. And sometimes there can be some tension or some problems that you have to kind of problem solve and work through. And if you're not, if you're not properly rested, if you're not, if you don't eat right, if you're not healthy, on that level, it can make those interactions a lot more difficult for our kids and even for adults. So the first thing I would say, parents, is to be mindful of how much sleep your child is getting at night. Adequate rest is very, very important. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was gonna and you bring up a good point about the sleep and the increase in technology usage. I mean, you're using it for school and they're getting off and then using it for those. I know some people have gone back to school, but for those who are still virtual, the children are using it for their social interaction. And for parents, some have been even a little bit more lenient. I dare say, I've been a little bit more lenient with our daughters with it because it's like, oh, they miss their friends. This is the only way they can connect with them. Yeah. However, there still needs to be some boundaries in terms of that usage, because if you don't, what I'm hearing you say is that it can create a ripple effect of things that are not healthy for their mental health. So whereas you think you're helping them, you could actually be harming them, particularly if they're not getting rest because they're spending all night on these devices and don't really have any boundaries in terms of when to shut it off.
Right. Exactly. And, we as parents tend to sometimes expect maybe a bit too much of our children. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? It's good that we want them to be able to, be more responsible and be more self-aware, right? To be able to take care of themselves, but we have to remember where they are in their development, cognitively, physically, emotionally, all that stuff, and sort of try to adjust our expectations of them, and maybe, when we can, add a little bit more support. So that could look like, all right, Johnny, we want to make sure that by 9 o'clock all electronics are off. So I'm going to come to your room and take your phone and take your iPad, and you'll get them back tomorrow at the appointed time, right? So something as simple as that. Of course, they might kick and scream, but the hope is that, hey, you want them to get that rest so that they can perform at their best in every situation life will throw at them the following day.
Right. Yeah, good point. So, parents do have a role to play, and we can't really rely on our children to be able to make some of those decisions on their own, or kind of. So now, parents have all said it, maybe sometimes to themselves, maybe sometimes to a friend, but I think child is crazy. I mean, we hate to use those phrases, but you feel like something is maybe a little off with your child, or the responses to certain things seem to be extreme, or you're hyper, or there are other types of things that are kind of like markers that maybe something needs to be done. What do you recommend to parents if they sense that this may be a serious issue that may need some behavior modification or even medication if it comes to that? How does a parent go about those steps of having their child assessed to see if there's a real mental health concern?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that you kind of want to remember that kids are not always going to be the ones to say to us, hey, mom and dad, I'm feeling depressed, right? I'm feeling down, or I don't want to interact socially with my friends anymore. Let's check me out, right? That's not
right. It's not going to
happen in every situation. So I want to really push this point. Let's talk about what could be helpful before the assessment take place. And as far as assessment goes, I assume you're talking about not just on a professional level, but just, how at home, how can parents gauge that something's happening, okay? So before we get to the assessment, what's really important, parents who are watching right now, what's really important is that your child feels comfortable enough to talk to you, okay? Now, let's just put it out there. Every child is not going to tell their parents everything. I don't care how close you guys are, right? There are going to be some things that, at least for most kids, that they will leave out, just themselves. Okay.
We did it. Yeah.
Right. So, you still want to be able to foster an environment of open communication as much as possible. Okay. So I would advise every parent to make sure every single week, if you can do it every day, that'd be phenomenal. But I get that we're all working and we have things to do. And after we work, we need to decompress and relax our brains and stuff. You just want to be alone. Totally get all that. Very important stuff. But as long as at some point in the week, we're making time to invest in our kids, invest in having that really open communication. And here's how you can do it. Very, very simple way, right? Literally, after you're done with work and you've had some time to relax a little bit, find your kid and do what they're doing. All right. If your kid's on TikTok, look at TikTok with them. If your kid's watching Make Little Mermaids, watch that with them as well. If they're watching Care Bears, well, that doesn't play anymore, but you get the picture, right? Yeah. Do what they're doing. Get into their world. Ask questions. That is what will make your child believe, Mommy cares about me. Daddy cares what I think. Let me try to tell Daddy a little something and see what he does with it. I'm telling you, this works wonders. And guys, that is all therapists do.
You're not supposed to reveal these secrets.
I know. Oh my goodness. Guys, for all you guys out there. But look, it's all about sharing and caring, right? So all we do, guys, is we build a rapport with your kid and we create a safe space for them to share literally anything at all, right? So you start there. That opens the door to having the more difficult conversations, right? Knocking on Johnny's door. Hey, Johnny, I noticed that you're not eating, or you're not talking to us. What's going on, buddy? Well, Mom, well, Dad, again, because this is the person that watched the shows I watched, that played the games with me, that, talked about whatever. He's cool. She's cool. Let's get it done, right? So invest in your child by trying to spend time with them, getting into their world, doing what they're doing, even if it hurts. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is painful. I won't lie.
Even if you're not interested, because listen, just to be transparent, this is something that Andre has shared with me. And, sometimes it's like, okay, the girls are watching TV. Great. I can go do something else. You're like, their attention. But to actually like sit down and watch a show that you're like, why do you guys like this? I mean, but when you think about the return on the investment in time and what you're really doing, it's not for your entertainment. It's not to say you have to like what they like. Mm-hmm. But you have to learn to, as you say, get into their world and make them feel safe with you because you're taking the time to invest in them and what they like. Exactly. And not be critical of it. Because I know sometimes, why are you watching this mess? What's this? Yes. Like, don't come in there with that.
That's a great point. Are you sure you can't counsel somebody yourself there, Tasha?
I think you rubbed off on me a little bit.
So yeah, that's a great point though, man. Not to be critical because the kids will see that as judgment, right? Something's wrong with me. Let me try and change. Mom and Dad don't like this about me. Oh my goodness. Right. They interpret these things in so many different ways, and you want to reduce that as much as possible. So keep our mouths closed, as far as like, we have a daughter that likes to, and I guess that's what me too. She likes to rewatch the same thing over and over again. And it's tough. It's tough. But again, when you invest, in those moments, man, as you said before, the returns that you'll get on that, is phenomenal. And it can make talking about the more complicated and stressful situations, a lot easier. Okay. And which makes healing, right, a lot more effective. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So again, invest in your kid, get in their world, right? And that will make the assessment part now, which I'll talk about in a little bit, a whole lot easier. So I'll tell you guys that for the past year, a lot of what I've been seeing happening with adolescents is there's a lot of depression
Mm.
going around. There's a lot of anxiety going around. There's a lot of low self-esteem
Mm.
issues going around. There's a lot of like social anxiety happening as well. There's also, in my opinion, an increase, and I know other scholars and doctors and therapists would back me up here. There seems to be an increase in gender identity
Mm.
and sexual identity as well. Okay, that's really on the rise now, especially among adolescent girls. Okay, so there's a whole lot more stuff coming at our kids via
Mhm.
social media, TV, news, music, friends. There's a whole lot more, and I'm talking about inside the church, outside the church. Okay, so we have to be a lot more vigilant now as parents more than ever. All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, and please, if I'm talking too much, you can stop me. I have this problem in my sessions too. Please just break in and stop me.
No, you're sharing good knowledge here.
Science. Okay. Not rocket science, folks. Very simple. Okay. Um, if you notice that Johnny is not eating that much anymore, that's a red flag. Okay. No, I'm not hungry. And you know, okay, this kid didn't have breakfast. We like ate candy for lunch, right? Something's off here. Okay. Isolation. That's a big one. I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I just want to stay in my room, on my phone, on my TikTok, or my Instagram, or what they use now, Snapchat. That's all I need. Red flag. Okay. You want to look for signs of irritability, right? And prolonged irritability. Like, we're talking 2-3 days every time you talk to your kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That could be a sign that there's something going on here that needs to be addressed. Okay. And of course, again, as I said earlier, lack of sleep. They're not sleeping. Huge bags under the eyes, poor diet, just low energy.
Mm.
These are all things that you really want to look for in your kid. And again, my advice would be that you have invested before in having this open dialogue with them, so you can knock on that door and go into the room and actually have a conversation with what you've noticed and hear what their feedback is. If this has not happened, if there was no investing done, which happens, and it's not the end of the world. If that hasn't happened, it's not too late, right? You can still do it. You can still do it. If this has not happened, my advice would be to be very cautious about how you approach your kid. If you're approaching them and there's an immediate just right, back off, give them that space, okay? And at that point, I would contact your doctor. I'm talking about your child's primary care doctor. Explain what's going on, explain what you're seeing, get an appointment set up, maybe encourage your child a bit. Hey, can you really share with your doctor what's going on? It's okay if you don't want to talk to me. Just tell Dr. So-and-so what's happening, okay? Have that conversation. Hopefully the doctor will see that, yes, there's some things happening here, and your doctor can refer you to, okay, I want you to contact this person or that person for an evaluation. You can also pull out your insurance card and call the number on the back of it and ask your insurance company to refer you to an agency or person, a licensed individual that can give you mental health services or point you to a person that can do an evaluation or something of that sort. Okay. So it's not hard to get your child mental health services. I've heard folks say, oh, the mental health system is broken. There's all this stuff going on. I'll admit that it can be complicated. I'll admit that depending upon what insurance you have, it can really seem like,
roadblocks.
Yeah. It can seem like quite a feat, but there usually are ways around it. Okay, you can even go online, right, on a site called Psychology Today, I believe, and or I know that our wonderful conference as well has a wonderful
directory. Yeah.
Yes. So there definitely are a lot of resources out there, and parents, don't be afraid to speak to friends as well. You never know, right? If they have some information, if they have someone that they could recommend, right? So you're definitely not alone, and you're not helpless in trying to find your child the help that they need.
Thank you. That's awesome. And since you mentioned that site, I'll put it up here. Dr. Defoe was talking with us about last week, those resources, and he also mentioned Psychology Today as a reputable site to get help. So this has been a great conversation. I mean, parenting is not easy. And I think any parent out there can agree. But even as we struggle to take care of our own mental health, we want the best for our children as well. And so I thank you so much for providing some tools that parents can use to connect with their children, but also some things that we need to be mindful of that we may be ignoring and excusing as, oh, they're just teenagers, oh, they're just going through that phase, particularly that isolation thing. So thank you for pointing out some of those red flags for parents. And there's so much more. You touched on some topics that I wish we could delve into a little bit more, but we do have to move on. But that whole understanding some of the current issues that our adolescents are facing, I think we probably need to do a whole segment or special on that alone. But thank you for bringing it up, because the more parents are aware, the more research they can do themselves and be educated.
Absolutely.
Sir Hewitt, we thank you for joining. Now you get to see what I do every day, and I get to hear what you say to people every day. So it's great. Our two worlds have collided. Our two floors have collided in the house. But anyway, thank you again, and we appreciate that information. Remember, mental health is so important, and particularly for our children. So we want to make sure that our parents are paying attention to the information shared. All right, thanks again. I'll see you later on.
All right.
And our viewing audience, I'll be right back after this short break.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
All right, everyone, welcome back to AEC Today Reports. We're happy you stayed tuned in. And next up is our Ministry Moments segment. And we're very happy to have with us our very own Pastor Micah Davis, but he also has a special guest with him. And we're anxious to hear about how they are being involved in their community. So I'm going to invite them on at this time. Hello, it's the Davis Trio.
Hi.
How are you all?
We're doing great. We just came back from a couple days for our anniversary. Yay. So the big 39 years.
Yep. Congrats. That's awesome. I love to hear that. Congratulations to both of you. And Pastor Davis, introduce your wife to those who may not know her by name.
Well, this is my lovely wife, Tony. She's the best part of me. And she's an amazing wife, mother, and ministry partner. And so, yeah, we just tag team and do everything together.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's why you've had 39 years. That combination is great. So awesome. So how have you all been? COVID has been in existence around here for over a year. Everybody's making their adjustments. How have you all been navigating all of it?
Well, we kind of just rolled right into it and with it. We had this great new ministry opportunity with the Walk, starting a church in Frederick, and we got the go ahead. I think it was 2 weeks before the stay-at-home order,
Wow.
And so we just started planting a church online, and it's been an amazing year. We've had a great time, and God's just really blessed.
It's been great. We've had opportunities that we never would have had if we'd been worrying about a building.
And that's why your shirt's so appropriate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We call ourselves the church without walls.
Right. That's awesome. And that's really how we should be. I think this has helped us rethink the way we do church. And so that's awesome. But we know that you all have always been a couple that was doing something in the community, whether it was locally or abroad. And most recently, I've seen that you all are involved in a very special project that we wanted to talk to you about today. And I see, Pastor Davis, you have the shirt on. Share with us this organization that you all are currently actively involved in.
Well, the organization is called Sleep and Heavenly Peace. And they're just on mission to make sure that no kid sleeps on the floor in our town. And so there's 250 some chapters now across the United States and in Canada. And I believe most recently, one in Africa, and I think another one in Mexico and maybe the Philippines. So it's really starting to branch out.
Okay. So how were you all introduced to this organization?
We were on vacation about 3 years ago, and I was sitting on the bed late in the evening, checking my email, and I got a message from a young adult that we pastored in high school when she was in high school. And she sent me a message. She said, "Pastor, you need to see this. You're going to be all over it." And so I jumped on the website and immediately ordered this T-shirt and another one. And then we started looking into it when we came back home.
Okay. So what appealed to you about it, Tony?
You know, what I love about it is the children. And when we're able to provide them sometimes the first bed that they've had in their entire life, often, and just know they're going to get a good night's rest, then it's all about the kids and just bringing joy to their lives. And the interesting thing is that you do not thrive as a child as well if you don't have a good night's rest. You do better in school. You grow up to be a more productive citizen. You are less likely to get involved in activities you shouldn't if you've had a good night's rest. And so these kids are just amazing and so sweet and so grateful.
And even emotionally, you know, especially now with all of the anxiety and everything from COVID-19, having your own space. It's like, this is my bed, this is my spot. And, you know, just kind of what comes along with that just helps emotionally also.
And what we've learned along the way this year is that a lot of the children are spending their days on their bed doing their homework online and doing their classes. And so it's so important to have a place that they can call their own.
That's beautiful. I don't even know that I realized that there was a need for something that specific. You know, you often hear about, oh, people need food, clothing, but a bed. I mean, I think that's something that, you know, some people take for granted or don't even think about that being something that they could assist with. So tell us exactly how you all provide these beds for the children.
So I think we're building beds twice a month now.
Okay.
So, you know, just a group of volunteers, 40, 50 volunteers get together, and we start from scratch with 2x4s and 2x6s and 1x4s. And we cut it all up and bolt it all together and get it ready to go. And then we store it in a warehouse. And once we get an application for a bed, then we go to the warehouse, load up, and assemble the beds in the homes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this year we have supplied over 200 beds already.
Wow.
And we're building 40 beds each time we get together.
Wow. That's incredible.
And this is just Frederick County.
Yes.
Wow. So the need is that great. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think you would think at some point, all right, everybody has a bed, but this seems to be something that that continues to be a valid need for so many. So who do you all work with? Who gets the beds? How do you determine who gets the beds?
Well, Mike and I lead the delivery team. And so the applications come right to us online through the website. They fill an application online, and we kind of vet them, although we've never found anybody that really was not in need of the bed or taking advantage of the system. And then we assemble a team of volunteers, and we head out usually 3 or 4 evenings per week. And each time we go out, we deliver 7 to 9 beds each evening.
Okay, so these beds can go to individual homes as long as they provide an application indicating a need. So anybody is eligible.
It's for children between the ages of 3 and 17.
Okay, all right, awesome. I love that. And you guys actually construct the beds yourselves. So
yes.
You have to be skilled in that area? Is it pretty straightforward? I mean, did you have prior experience with that?
Yeah, what's really cool is that almost every time we build beds, there's somebody there that has never held a drill in their hand or an impact driver or any of those kinds of things. And so just a little bit of time with them, and they just roll with it. It's kind of like an assembly line. We just start at the beginning and work our way through the materials until the beds are assembled.
Awesome. I love this. This is such a great venture. Now, I'm sure other people are listening and saying, wow, this is great. I've been looking for an innovative or new way to be involved. So if someone is interested in helping out with Sleep in Heavenly Peace, how do they do that?
So if they go to the website and then drill down to their local county, they can check and see if there is a chapter there. If there isn't a chapter there and they really want to do it, then they can start one. So then they would get in touch with headquarters, which is in Idaho, and start the process of forming a chapter in their county.
Okay, awesome. Now, of course, the chapter that you all are a part of is the Frederick, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yes.
So if you want to directly impact our own, this is within our territory, and like you said, we have people watching from all over. So even if you, like you said, want to start, I didn't even realize that's an option. If you want to start a chapter, the website can give you information on how to do that. So that's
they have full training and everything. You go out to Idaho, and they train you and take you through the whole process.
Oh, cool! That's awesome. I like that training. So how has this being involved in this organization? How long have you all been doing this now?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years. We came on right after our area chapter started. And then we had the opportunity to, volunteer and help out. And then we also joined their board so that we can have a direct impact and took over the delivery teams.
Yes.
Okay. Now, speaking of impact, how has being involved in this organization ministry impacted you personally?
For us, I think that service has always been such a huge part of who we are. Mm-hmm. And just being able to be connected with our community and really be involved in the community, and to allow people to know that there are actually folk that go to church that don't just go to church. Mm. And, so like when we go to the warehouse and load up, we pray over every one of the beds because we feel like these beds are actually an expression of the gospel. Mm. And so when we go in those homes, we are deliberately trying to impact the children and the family, in a way that maybe for the first time they realize that God really is very interested in every detail of their life.
Mm-hmm. And we've had the opportunity to reach people beyond just delivering the beds and build relationships that I think we'll have for a lifetime. We try to take note of the home while we're there and the receptiveness of the people involved, and see if there's something else they might need. We've got a few homes we're supplying with furniture because the only thing that we have in those houses that we deliver to are the beds that the children are sleeping in. literally nothing.
Yes.
And so we've had the opportunity to also supply couches and washers and dryers and different things like that. Christmas for 6 families, beautiful Christmas for 6 families that we could see there was nothing probably that the children were going to get. And so we're building friendships and relationships, and we're hoping to touch them with Jesus.
That's right. We're going to baptize some of these people.
Yep.
So we actually have a camp out scheduled next month.
Oh.
And a week ago, we put 4 beds up in a home in Brunswick. And a single mom with 6 kids. 4 of them are still home.
Well, 5 are home, but
5 of the children are still home. And yesterday, Tony came in the cabin and she said, well, I hope it's okay. I just invited Sophia and our family to the camp out. And Sophia has saved the day. So we may be able to spend the weekend with this family. And who knows what will happen.
This is amazing. Now, all the extra that goes into it, like the furniture, accessing other needs, is that what you all do personally, or is it something okay? I knew the answer to that. I just
well, Sleep in Heavenly Peace is actually not registered as a religious nonprofit because of grants, I think, and various things. And so as far as Sleep in Heavenly Peace goes, we go in and we put beds up and we're done. We always ask the family if it's okay if we have prayer with them. And I don't think anyone's refused. I don't think anyone's refused. And so, we always pray with the families and just try to be observant and sensitive to the needs and the things that are around, just to see if there's a way we can continue to nurture a relationship with those families.
We always ask God to send us someone each day. And so if he's got somebody that's receptive, we're going to know who that is.
I love that. And I think we should be that intentional in terms of asking God who, because there's always going to be someone. I mean, we know how God works. So that's great that you're asking and then being obedient when he impresses you in a certain direction. That's awesome.
Yeah. So number one, we don't want to see a child sleeping on the floor, right? But number 2, we want to increase the kingdom. And so, we just ask God to leverage that, leverage those opportunities. So we can make the name of Jesus famous, right?
I love that. I love that. And I'm going to put the website up once again. We've been talking about Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And this is the organization, shpbeds.org. And if you want to contribute specifically to the chapter that the Davises are a part of, that's the Frederick chapter in Maryland. But if you're somewhere else and you're like, this is great, I want to start my own chapter, you can get more information on that website there. This is great. I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing about this and your dedication to this ministry, as well as the connections you're able to make for the kingdom. It's amazing. And thank you for being so inspirational. So many others who are looking for ways to meet real needs, which is what you all are doing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And enjoy the rest of your anniversary week. When you get to 39 years, you can take weeks, months, however long you want.
You know what? I would like to say one other thing, if I could, for people to make it a matter of prayer. Right now, there is a national mattress shortage. Who knew, right? We just thought it was gas. But it is mattresses, and we're having a terrible time obtaining the mattresses. We have over 50 requests waiting right now for beds. And it's not because we don't have beds, it's because we don't have mattresses. So we need twin bed mattresses that are brand new. And we need our God to provide them because these children need them.
Yes.
Okay, wow, thank you for sharing that. So twin bed mattresses. I mean, who knows? A mattress bed owner could be watching, or someone knows someone who has a connection. Please, this is definitely an organization that's going to make good use of them. So reach out to us and we'll connect you with the Davises. Thank you for sharing that.
All right. If you want to volunteer.
That's right. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work. I mean, we hustle 4 days a week.
I like that you say though there's room for novices, like those who may not be have experienced the hammer.
Absolutely.
I may try to make a trek to Maryland. I'm trying to find some opportunities to get on the road and
let us know.
We would love that. Our 11-year-old grandson comes every time. So.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if you carve out the time, come down and we'll build beds, and then we'll stick around. We'll put you in a room here at our house, and then you can go deliver with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next day.
This sounds exciting. I'm gonna make that happen. I really am.
We would love it.
Sounds good, Latasha.
Thank you.
Thanks again for sharing, everyone. It was nice to talk to both of you.
Thank you.
God bless.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back after this short break.
The Bible tells us in 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, "If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land." If there were ever a time that we needed to come together in prayer, it is now. Therefore, our president, Elder Henry Fordham, is calling on you to join us as we band together in prayer. Pray corporately with us every day at 12 p.m., and in addition, 3 times a day. We believe that God will honor the faithfulness of His people as we band together in prayer. Please pray with us and watch God move.
Welcome back, everyone. AEC Today Reports. We're happy that you have stayed tuned into our program. And now it's time for our Ask the Pastor segment. As you know, from last week, our featured pastor of the month is none other than Dr. Dewaine Frazer. And we are always happy to have him with us. So we're going to bring him on at this time. How are you doing, Dr. Frazer?
I am well, just happy to be back. Thanks for inviting me back on your show. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I mean, you did so well last week. You know, we said, hey, we got to bring him back.
I'm so grateful because I thought I wasn't gonna get an invite again. So thank you so much. It made my day.
Yes, you passed the test. And for those who may not know, he pastors formerly known as First Church of Montclair, now Grace Point, right?
Yes,
Grace Point.
You got it.
New Jersey. We love that. All right. So I was looking at the question this week and I like it. It's kind of fun. This is probably one of the first personal questions that we've had for the featured pastor. So let's see what we have here.
Let's go.
How do you prepare for a sermon? Now, any of us, let me just preface this by your response by saying, any of us who've heard Dr. Frazer lay down the scripture, you know that the man is in the word and he brings a powerful message each time. And of course, I'm sure many of you have thought to yourself, I wonder how he gets ready to deliver such a powerful message. Well, now we get to find out how. So, Dr. Frazer, please share with us, how do you prepare for your sermons?
First of all, you're too kind. Yeah, God be praised. But here's my secret. Here is my secret. I'm doing this publicly. Here's my secret, and now you will know. So first, let me just say that everybody does it differently. Okay, this is not how you need to do it, but everybody prepares differently. This is how I prepare. Okay. So, can I say that sermons take a lot of time? Like a good sermon for me takes almost like 30 hours. That's for me. Wow. I have to spend a lot of time. So when after I'm finished one sermon, I'm already beginning to process what I'm going to preach next.
Okay.
And divide that time. But first I pray. And I ask God to lead because you cannot. This is not by might nor by power, but it's by God's Spirit. And so you have to be aided and guided by His Holy Spirit. Then we go into the source of the sermon. I like to preach what's where it's itching, and I like to where it's itching. sermons ought to be relevant. And so I take note of what's going on in my church, what some of my members are going through. I look at what the season is. I look at in terms of the month. We're in the month of May, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I also look at what is happening in our community, whether it's police brutality, you know what I mean? I'm just looking at different things, politics, sports, anything that's current. I also look at lectionaries. So a lectionary is like a predetermined cycle of scripture readings that are designed to help like an individual or a congregation. So for example, we'll look at different things like stewardship. We'll look at different themes like grace, different subjects.
Right. Gotcha.
Then I'll also sometimes my sermon comes from my devotional time. Amen. Amen.
All right, there you go.
I'll be reading something and then something just really, jumps out at me and I can't let it go. And all right, Holy Spirit, I've got to preach this. I'm excited about it. And I will say that I don't preach anything that I'm not excited about, because if it's it's not going to touch any of you guys. I will see the energy and the enthusiasm coming out. And so I think that's important. That's the source. That's the source. Then when we get that theme, then we'll jump into a text, and I let the text guide me. I don't impose my ideas on the text, because I don't want to take the text out of context.
Right.
And so I do that. I'll read it in different versions. So I'll read it in the KJV, NIV, the NLT, all versions. So do
you have one of those Bibles that has all the versions together? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And please, Latasha, please stop me like if you want to ask a question and stuff.
No, go ahead. I'm taking notes.
Okay. So we jump into the different versions and we're reading all of that. And then I'm picking out the notable points in the passage. There are some points that just jump out at you if you're reading. For example, you're talking about Peter. Last week I preached about Peter sinking. All right. And what's clear in the text is one point in the text. What can I say? Okay. Yes. Whenever we take our eyes off Jesus, we sink. Okay. That's like anybody could see that in the text. Stevie Wonder could see that in the text. And so I said Stevie Wonder in front of AEC. I'm sorry. So yeah, awesome. So we take the notable points in the passage, and we ask ourselves a question: what is the passage saying then, and what is the passage saying to us now? We ask critical questions. We also, and this is a part of my exegesis, what didn't the passage say that could be said? So we read in between the lines.
Okay.
Because that's also important. What the passage could have said that is not there, which brings out the point even more. Right?
Okay.
During this part, notice I didn't even start the writing yet. I have not started writing. I'm just
all research and reading and okay.
That's right. I also personally, when I'm looking in the text, I'm also looking for the subject complement of the text, like what it's saying and what does it have support for where we're trying to go. Then I'm also reading books on that subject.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Okay.
Yes. I'm also reading books on the subject, and because I'm trying to read, I'm trying to be more intentional about reading. Many of the sermons I preach come from books that I have read or are currently reading, and so that gives me information about the text, and I'm able to articulate that during the sermon. Then we start the outline. So in this day and age, Latasha, you have let's be honest, you have the intro, the body, the conclusion, the intro, the 1, 2, 3. You know, Jesus, you get the 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm. Supporting facts, yeah.
That's right. So that's what we're doing. We're writing the 1, 2, 3, and then we're headed to then the outline. Then after we do the outline, I start writing my first point, then my second point, my third point, and then my conclusion. I never write my introduction first. I always write my introduction last. And you do that simply because you don't want it to be disjointed.
Yeah.
You've already written the body and everything else, so that the introduction is just like the icing.
Yes.
Right. Whenever I'm writing my introduction, you don't want to. Let me say this. Yeah. Because I think I wrote it down here too. Yeah. Whenever I'm writing my introduction, I never put something like too much substance, too much
in the intro. You got to build, yeah.
Look at Latasha. Look at you. I've been preaching somewhere too good. So you don't want to do that. You got to build. You got to build because it is a journey. Your listeners are they're not with you just yet, right? So you can't drop. You got to keep their attention and slowly build. And then, especially in Black preaching, we celebrate in the end. All right. Then it's not done yet.
Okay.
Then we've got to have illustrations. Illustrations bring our sermons to life. And there's a book called Attentive to God, where the author says that in everything, if you pay attention, I remember this. I think Dr. Dog taught me this down at Oakwood, that if you are attentive to God, you can find an illustration everything.
I believe that.
To what God is saying, because He's speaking every day. We just need to pay attention. And so after we've got the illustrations, then we have the applications. Now, what I do whenever I'm preaching, I always, as I said, it's important for the members to find themselves in the text. They ought to be able to see themselves in the text. And so application is important. It's just not providing the biblical text. It's not just showing research. No, it's not just the message, but it needs to somehow come to how does this relate to me? And so the tension is balancing the application with the biblical text, because some sermons are more application than Bible, which is not healthy, because folks can't grow off of application, they grow off of Bible. So it's pulling, it's balancing, it's a balance act, right? The application and your biblical text. And then finally, here it is, finally, I always remember, here it is, that I ought to never love the crowd more than I love the people. Crowd more than people.
I like that. Where'd you get that from?
Girl, why are you trying to blow up no, I got it from somewhere for real though. That was a deep one. But yeah, never love the crowd more than you love the people. Because and the essence of that is, whenever you're writing, don't try to write for a reaction, right? From the crowd. Speak to people's needs, address the needs, and lift up Jesus. If Jesus is lifted up, hey.
Yeah. You're gonna get a shout. That's right.
And women onto Himself. So those are just that's just the basic outline of what I do when I'm preparing. Everybody does it differently. So some people listen to music. Some people do different things. Latasha, you know why I'm laughing?
Inside joke, yes.
Inside joke. And so we all do it in different ways, but we pray that the outcome is the same, that men and and are drawn closer to Christ as a result of the word, which has life, has power to change and convict any soul.
That's awesome. I mean, this is so interesting to hear your process, particularly the writing of it. It's very similar to, you know, someone who has like an English background like myself, writing stories, news writing, you know, even that intro part, that's similar to how you do a story. You know, you don't write the intro until after you've written the body and the conclusion. So there are a lot of similarities there. But I do have some follow-up questions for you. Now, in your research, you mentioned the books. And this is somewhat of a sticking point for some people. Do you read or use Ellen G. White writings as part of your research? Okay.
Yes. You never, every sermon, even though I may not quote Ellen White in every sermon, I definitely see what Ellen White has to say on the subject.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So she is one of the resources in your library. Okay.
Definitely. I am. Yeah. And she's deep. She's deep.
She is. She really is. Okay. So the other thing, after you've gone through your process and you got it, do you preach to yourself in the mirror?
Why you have to ask me that? Like I was trying to avoid that. I don't preach in front of the mirror anymore. I used to.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can preach out loud though.
Okay. And last question, because you know sometimes do you kind of run things by wifey and like, babe, like does this hit right, or should I? Do you do that?
Yes, I do. Because the Spirit speaks through her as well. So yep, I do. I run my illustrations and I'm like, what do you think about it? And especially if I'm going to use her in my illustration, I definitely have to.
Yeah, you better get some. Get that approval first. Yeah,
you better do that. But yeah, she's my number one supporter. So, you know, I'll run things by her and say, hey, babe, what do you think about this? And she'll give me her honest feedback.
Oh, yeah. She loves you then, because I don't mean harm. Sometimes you're like, did you run this sermon by anybody?
Right.
No, but this is great. Thank you for being willing to be transparent and a little vulnerable with answering this question. And but I have a high appreciation for you all who do this on a regular basis. And you said 30 hours to prepare one message, and you know many of you are doing it every week. So that's a lot of preparation, and it's very interesting to hear the process specifically for you. So that's great. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
So you got a fun one this week. So we're gonna have to get a harder question for you next week. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Pray for me, AEC. Pray for me that God will speak to me. Hallelujah.
No, we know you can handle whatever we throw your way. But thanks again for answering our question of the week. All right, everyone. Stay tuned next week for the next Ask the Pastor question. But for now, be right back after this short break.
Revelation 14 verse 12 says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God, obey, and the faith of Jesus." Now, Revelation 14:12 is talking about at the very end, when we can experience that promised land, tying back to what you were asking about, Chris. That promised land, God is saying, here's the patience of the saints, those who keep the commandments, obedience, and those that have the faith of Jesus. So Revelation 14 verse 12, again, reiterates, the saints have two characteristics. They keep the commandments of God, obedience, and they have the faith in Jesus, faith. We do not earn salvation by our obedience, family. For salvation is the free gift of God to be received by faith. But obedience is the fruit of faith. This is where it gets interesting again. Obedience is the fruit of faith. So you know how they have that question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? In this situation, we ask the question, which comes first, obedience or faith? And according to what God is teaching us in his word, he says, listen, faith must come first because obedience will naturally follow. You can't do it in reverse.
All right, so we're back with Fitness with Faye. Faye, we've been enjoying all these wonderful exercises that you're showing us. But like most ladies and some men, we always want to know what we can do to kind of trim this area around here.
All right.
Are you able to show us some exercises that addresses, the waistline?
Yes, I am, Latasha. It's spring, summertime now. We're wearing tighter fitted clothing, and we're also going to be getting into our bathing suits very soon. I have some wonderful exercises that I'm going to demonstrate along with you.
Okay.
I have my buddy with me today, which is really great.
I'm excited.
And these exercises, I like to make them fun.
All
okay?
right.
We're going to challenge that core, work on our house, work on our inside out.
Okay.
We want to work on our inside out.
So we have our mats here.
All right. So right now we're going to come down to our mats, and I'm going to start face down in prone position. Okay. So let's come on down. And we're going to do some butt, gut, and thigh work. Okay?
Oh, butt, gut, and
start
thigh.
with that.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Palms facing down, palms in line with your shoulders. Let's take a breath in. Inhale, roll your shoulders up. Curl your back like a cat, and then exhale, extend. Once again, inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Again, inhale. I like to coordinate the breath with the movement so that we flow, the body's nice and energized, our blood's oxygenated properly, and then release. Wonderful. Okay, Latasha, we're going to take the right knee out to the side. It looks like this. And what we're doing here is we're working our adductors, our outer hips, toning those areas. Good job. Okay, now give me 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now with that same leg, lift your right leg up, press your heel up, Latasha. I want you to feel this move. Okay, so lift your heel straight up towards the sky. Can you feel that? Mm-hmm. All right, up, 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 a little higher, a little higher. I want you to feel it in your hamstring and your glutes, as well as your core. Now, the same leg, we're gonna bring the knee in towards the chest and then kick up. Okay, in and out. There you go, in and out. There you go. Now give me 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good form, Latasha. Wonderful. Bring that right knee down. Give me that cat stretch again. Inhale, round your spine like a cat, and then exhale, extend. Wonderful. Same thing with the left leg. Okay, let's take the left knee out. Here we go, and 1, 2, 3. Point your toes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. Lift your heel up. Okay, press your heel straight up to the sky. Working the hamstrings and glutes just like that. Wonderful. Press it up a little higher. Excellent. Now stretch that leg out. Bring the knee in towards the chest. In and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Sit back towards your heels. Slide your palms forward. Doesn't that feel great? Wonderful stretch there between our work. It does. Okay. And the exercises that we're performing today, mat exercises, these are Pilates exercises. Wonderful form of exercises to help you with your balance and coordination, flexibility, and strengthen your core. Let's extend the right leg out. Okay, press your toes down on the ground. Press your heel toward back so you can stretch your calf. You feel that?
I do.
Wonderful. Roll forward on your toes and then press back again. Okay, let's bring the right knee in. Take the left foot out. Press your heel back. There you go. Roll forward on the toes. Now press it back again. Wonderful. Let's bring it in, Natasha. Okay, now we're going to come down on our forearms. We're going to do a wonderful exercise here. Natasha, it's very challenging. A little more challenging, I should say, not very challenging. Okay, so what we're going to do here, for modification, we'll keep the knees down. I want you to walk your knees back and just drop your bottom down. You see, right on the top of the knees, your core muscles are engaged. So here's a modification if we're not able to lift the knees up. Okay, so we're right there. Can you feel that?
I can.
Okay, let's count to 10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Belly button is drawn in towards the spine, okay? Now, Latasha, come all the way down. I'm going to give you a little stretch between our work here. Palms right in front of your shoulders. Let's inhale it. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Wonderful. Okay, now we're gonna come up on all fours. Right here, okay? Now, I want you to come up into a plank. Extend your legs out long. No modification for this. We would lower the knees down, okay? All right,
I'll do
so
the
take a break when you need to.
Okay.
Okay, Latasha, come back to this form for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I want you to walk your toes forward. Lift your hips up. Right there, okay? Not too far. Try to straighten a little bit. Hips up. There we go. Head between your arms. Now we're gonna bend and straighten. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great job. Come
I'm
on
dropping.
Down. Come on down. It's all right. It's all right. Okay, let's sit back on the heels once again. Okay. That wonderful stretch. Great job, Latasha. Okay. All right. Now we did some wonderful exercises face down. Planks are really wonderful. Excellent for strengthening your back. If you have lower back pain as well as core strengthening. If you have issues here, you can come down to your forearms. If you have issues with your wrists on the forearms, okay, and then you can lower the knees down if need be. Okay, Latasha, let's lift the knees up. Now, walk the feet forward. Right there, straighten. Take your time.
You make it look so easy.
Take your
Faye.
time, it's okay. Let's do 2. 1, 2, come on down. Viewers, Latasha, take baby steps.
Okay, yes.
And then you work your way up to it. Okay, let's come up on all fours. Round. Wonderful. Inhale. And then exhale. Excellent. Okay, let's come up all the way. Great job, Latasha.
Thank you.
We're going to roll over on our back now in supine position on our spine and do some fun core exercises. Okay?
Let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to have a seat.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, okay, so our feet are down. I want you to lean back with your core muscles engaged. Okay, lift your palms out. And let's take a breath in. Inhale and exhale. Lift. Very good. Up. Again. Up. 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 Can you feel that, Latasha?
I do.
All right, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Let's sit up nice and tall. Extend your legs out. Okay. Reach out for your toes. As best you can. Wonderful. Okay, Latasha, place your fingertips right under your bottom. I want you to lift your right leg up, toes up. Let's go for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now toes in. Okay, right toes in. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You feel that toning taking place in your legs?
Yeah.
Amazing, right? Okay, left foot. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wonderful. Okay, point those toes. Flex your heels. Point. Now flex. Wonderful. Okay, Latasha, we're going to lie down on our backs. Okay, come all the way down. And let's draw our knees in towards our chest. Right there. Doesn't that feel wonderful? This is a wonderful stretch, Latasha and viewers, to do before you go to bed at night. Release tension on your back. And I'll tell you more about that when we do our relaxation segment. But bring your legs straight up, Latasha. Point your toes, flex your heels. Point and flex. Wonderful. Okay, sweep your arms overhead. Bring your palms towards the mat, Latasha. Keep your head down. Inhale, arms overhead. I want to get the breath coordinated. Exhale. Inhale. Now this time, lift your shoulder, neck, and head up on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. There you go. Inhale, exhale. Just like that. You got it. Inhale, exhale. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wonderful. Rest down. Hug the thighs in towards your chest. Great job. Place your feet flat down. Let's place the palms on the thighs. Okay, we're going to slide the palms right up, reaching our fingertips past our knees. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great job. Okay, arms down by your side. And remember, viewers, Latasha, 3 sets of 10 of all of these exercises. Okay. Do as much as you can. Again, take baby steps and work your way up to doing more. Okay, let's take a breath in. Inhale, pelvis lifted to the sky. Stretch out those quads. Exhale down. Wonderful. Okay, now this next exercise, we are going to stretch the legs out long. Okay, and I want you to lift your right leg up. Pointed flex, now left, right, now left, right, now left. Excellent, okay? Bend your right knee, placing your right foot down. Place your right hand behind your head, extend your left arm. Okay, now I want you to bend your left knee, bring your left foot in, extend your right leg. Okay, Latasha, watch this. We're going to lift the right leg, reach for the toes with that left hand. Okay, let's do it together. Here we go. And 1, shoulder, neck, and head up. Oh, 2, there you go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. Do you feel that?
I feel it.
Okay, great. Let's switch. Extend the left leg, right arms out to the side, left hands behind the head, and let's go. 1. Okay, here we go. 1. There you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful, fantastic. All right, let's bring those thighs in towards the chest. Okay, now place your palms down. Latasha, let's bring both knees in and out. There you go. In, up. There you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. Feet down. Okay? Good. All right, Latasha, we're going to roll ourselves up. Bring your thighs in towards your chest, and let's come on up. Good job. You're
not quite as effortless as you, but
it's okay. It'll come together. All right, great work today. Just wonderful. Yeah. Quick stretches before we get off. Okay. Extend that left leg out. Take your right foot over. And we're going to take the inside of the left arm right there. Okay. Right hand's behind you. Turn your chin toward your right shoulder. Breathe, inhale, exhale. Okay, and then switch. Okay, wonderful. All right, let's come back to center. All right, hold your legs. Okay, great job, Latasha.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome
I felt
work.
that.
Awesome work.
So how often should we do exercises like this?
Okay, particular mat exercises, I would say at least twice a week. Okay. If you want to tone up your core, strengthen your core, I mean, these exercises are really wonderful. We have lots of people have back issues, hip issues. It's really wonderful to work these tendons and ligaments and stretch them out and do the movements so you'll feel better.
Yeah.
Inside out.
I definitely
you feel your inside?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
I can see this working.
Okay, great.
This has been great.
And again, do as much as you can. You don't have to do everything that I've demonstrated and at a time. You can break it up into segments.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been great. I hope viewers, you'll try it. Hey, like I said before, if I can do it, you can do it. Keep working on it, and you can be as smooth and flawless as Faye herself. But this has been great. Thanks, Faye.
You're very welcome.
Ready to get my core in shape here.
All right. Bikinis, here we go.
Right. All right, everyone, that wraps up tonight's episode. We thank you for watching. We also want to thank all of you who participated in our day of prayer and fasting for the Fordham family. Continue to keep those prayers going up for Elder Fordham, and particularly Sister Fordham during her healing process. He feels your prayers, and he definitely wants to thank all of you for thinking of him, President of Fordham, of him and his family during this time. So keep it up, AEC family. Your prayers are working, and they are being felt. Of course, check out our website, visit aec.org for more information about what's happening in the conference, some of our local events happening in various churches. Check that out. And before we go, of course, there's a video of the week. You want to make sure you check out. Great word coming to us. So thanks for tuning in every week, because the more you watch, the more you know. We'll see you next time. Be safe, stay healthy.
You see, you got to understand that it's the Holy Ghost that blocks him from preaching the gospel in a place where they needed to hear the gospel. And if you're taking notes today, maybe the first thing you need to write down is that if you are working with God rather than for God, that God will take you on divine detours. That's right, I said that, divine detours, right? That you're going one direction, but then God will divinely detour you and take you a different direction. And you're scratching your head saying, well, why is it that God would take me on a divine detour from good to something godly? Here's why, is that sometimes you may not be ready for what you think you want. Because I heard somebody say before, he will not place you where your character can't keep you. And some of the things you are going after, you're not ready to have just now. Some of the positions and the jobs and the people and some of the blessings and trappings, you might not have the wherewithal to withstand it. I'm talking to somebody who in this pandemic has been searching and pleading for a platform. You want to get famous. You want to be known like other people. And the reason God has not allowed you to have the platform is because he doesn't want you to make a mistake on the large platform. He wants you to make some mistakes on the smaller one before you get to the bigger stage. I'm talking to somebody here who needs to know you may not be ready. Maybe that's the reason you're on a divine detour, because you got to understand that God, watch this, not only orders your steps. We love to sing that song. Order my steps in your word, oh Lord, right? God not only orders your steps, but watch this, he also orders your stops. Praise God. Praise God that he orders not only my steps, where to go, but he orders my stops. The times when he says, don't go forward. The times when he stands right before me and my blessing. The times where he becomes an obstacle to what my flesh wants, but my spirit doesn't need. Woo, God, thank you for ordering my stop.